scream, but you can't. Terror grips every nerve in your body, and your heart is beating so fast. Now American International Pictures presents
buy a ticket to this movie, you're entitled to a full seat, but we guarantee you will only use the edge of it. When you see, don't look in the basement. Don't open the window.
Rated R, under 17, not admitted without parents.
Under 17, not admitted without parents or guardian. Parents or guardian.
Rated R, under 17, not admitted without parents.
Film Ways, rated R. And every few minutes, somebody dies. That's the cycle of life. The dead are supposed to stay dead, but somewhere, somehow, something has gone wrong. For those of you with a taste for zombies and the living dead, comes a nightmare tale that won't go away. Welcome to Green Park Asylum for the incurably insane. There's just one problem. Someone has mixed up all the files, and you can't tell the inmates from the doctors. Saturday night, neon light. Saturday night, night, tip hop time. Saturday night, neon light.
There is nothing you can do but wait and squirm. Rated R, 17, not admitted without parents.
Saturday night, I'm going out. Where are you now? You're watching me.
Under 17, not admitted without parents or guardian. Under 17, not admitted without parents or guardian. Under 17, not admitted without parents or guardian.
Cassandra, there's not much time left. When will he know?
During the dance, love. During the dance. Drink the wine of love's sweet fire, and know the ways of love's desire.
Two-tailed lizards and charms from mares, send him up the golden stairs. Roots and shoots and herbs so green, make me now this mortal's love queen.
And now you know that witches don't need Tinder. They have their own little ritual that they do. And that gets them a date on Saturday night. But good evening, fans of fantastic films. Welcome once again to the Drive-In Asylum double feature.
Hello. Hello to our guest.
Sam Panico and AC Nicholas.
Hello, everybody.
How's everybody doing tonight?
Wonderful. I'm very excited for this double feature of Strangeness. And I'm
really
glad that you picked them. Yeah. And a natural double feature, too. These were played together. And every time I watch the opening of that we just showed Night of the Witches, I realized I would not survive the early 70s were I alive in it. I would have been in a cult or something. I would have freaked out on acid very, very badly, as they say.
Well, you know, if I had to pick two movies that were time capsule pieces of 1970, it would be these two right here.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, because they have everything that the 70s were known for. We've got like satanic panic, we've got drugs, we've got psychedelia, we've got nudity in a GP movie, we've got a Canadian film from the Canadian Film Development Corporation. I mean, we got all kind of goodness tonight, and that's why I kind of picked it so that we could talk about what you call, Sam, natural double features. In other words, two movies that actually were released together. As you've seen some of Bill's ads on Facebook about this double feature. They came from Medford Releasing, and they were inseparable throughout like 1971 in the United States. And now they're kind of lost to the sands of time. And we have lots to talk about these two films.
Yeah, and Night of the Witches also played on, we talked about it before we started, on Chiller Theater 4 times.
It did.
January 13th, 73, December 8th, 74, July 17th, 76, and June 11th, 77. And is that where the first place you guys saw this at?
Yes, I saw it on the January 13th, 1973 showing, and man, it blew my 12-year-old mind. It just pushed me into puberty like a rocket.
That's what this movie is more about. I feel like I missed something because this movie wasn't for me, and that pisses me off. But it did have sort of like it does have its own vibe going, as you mentioned, and I still liked it as a kid, even though, you know, it's switches.
It's really weird. I mean, it's strange and crazy, and then the distribution history is strange and crazy. And I think I'll ask right up front, how many first-timers we have tonight to one or both of the movies? I'm willing to bet that most people have not seen either of these because they've never been released officially on any home video format at all.
That's
a big idea to get used to, because these movies are, well, I guess they're not talked about either. Obviously, there mustn't be that big of a fan base out there for these movies unless they would have been out already, right?
Well, it's funny, Bill, that you mentioned that, because as I was researching Night of the Witches this week, on the classic horror film board, there were about 4 years ago almost 200 posts about Night of the Witches. And it was all devoted to this grail quest to find the missing 3 minutes. Because this film, when it was rated by the MPAA, came in at 78 minutes. Every version across the internet is 75 minutes, and they're all ripped from some late night TV showing 40 plus years ago, because I've looked at all of them and they're from the exact same dupe. Exact, and they're missing 3 minutes. And we'll maybe get to it a little bit later after I talk about Medford a little bit. But the 3 minutes, where are they? What happened to them? We can only speculate.
It's pretty interesting that Keith Larson, who plays the preacher in this, he directed and co-wrote this movie with Vince Fautre, who was the English scriptwriter of Baron Blood. Like, what a weird credit to go from like writing the English parts of Baron Blood to this movie, which isn't that many years apart.
And I think Fautre also wrote Missile to the Moon way back, like many years earlier.
That's ancient.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And Larson produced too, so it has that smell of a vanity project.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I'll put myself in the movie with all these witches, all them witches, as they say. And that's what you
either
do
a vanity project or a Bradley Cooper project, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tommy
Also, this
Wiseau.
movie's. Go ahead, Bill.
Nothing. I just said Tommy Wiseau.
Tommy Wiseau.
People who like to put themselves in movies where they're naked with chicks.
I did not do it. I did not. But again, with our theme of true double features, this played the drive-ins, and a little bit of the history of this. This was picked up by a fly-by-night company called Medford Film Corporation, and most of the drive-in exploitation companies were either in New York City on the East Coast or on the West Coast. And Medford, my research reveals, was a Los Angeles company. They only existed, I think, from about 1970 to maybe 1972. And they had they had 5 films. They had this double feature that we're going to see tonight. They had a Bert I. Gordon film called How to Succeed with the Opposite Sex. And they had a film from the director of Angel, Robert Vincent O'Neill, called The Psycho Lover, and more about that in a minute. And a concert film called It's Your Thing with the Isley Brothers, Ike and Tina Turner, and the Brooklyn Bridge.
Wow.
And that was it. And it's just, they have a bizarre history because they advertised these films that were part of their stable. They showed them for a couple of months. They sold off the rights. They sold off, here we go. Thank you, Bill. Yeah, I found this. This is from one of the trades back in the day of all the Medford films. And you see there's a poster or an ad mat that actually has these two together. And I see they actually have, what's the rating of Night of the Witches? I think it's GP on that, and Dr. Frank's Silent Campuses are, and that was part of the speculation online. But there are the 4 or the 5 Medford films right there, and there weren't any more. Apparently, what happened with Medford was they purchased the one in the upper right corner, The Psycho Lover, from a company called Taos Libra. For $125,000, they bought the rights, and they stiffed the company for $100,000, and then Taos Libra sued Medford, and then I think Medford just disappeared. They probably declared bankruptcy or something. But strange films. I saw it on Chiller Theater for the first time in that 75-minute version that we're going to see tonight. It's the only one you'll find anywhere. And the Classic Horror Film Board was interesting because 4 years ago, somebody discovered 7 8x10 black and white stills from Night of the Witches that have an R rating on the bottom and show nudity. And people were wondering, it's been that Grail quest, where are these 3 minutes? What was in the 3 minutes? And if you look at some of the reviews at the time, people said, well, it was edited down from an R rating to a GP, and that's where the 3 minutes went. That's not accurate, because I went and looked at the MPAA's index of movies. It was originally rated a GP, which was the equivalent of a PG back in the early days of the ratings board. And we can talk about 70s GPs, right, guys?
Also, like, some of the actresses in this obviously wouldn't be opposed to nudity, like Roxanne Brewer, who used the name Susie Edgel in this. She was an adult star. And then Julie Connors was in Trader Horny and Count Yorga. So, and Catherine Loder, who is the main witch, Cassandra, she's from the Big Dollhouse. So it's not like it was one of those, anyone was uptight, obviously, about what they were getting into in this movie.
No, not at all. So Medford got it, and then Medford threw it out there to the drive-ins. It had a GP rating, and then Dr. Frankenstein on campus got an R. And as I said, if you look at the MPAA records, they were submitted the same day for ratings. The first one was Night of the Witches was number 250, and Frankenstein was 251, and GP and R. And you'll see the ads are crazy, Bill, when you show them later in the ad galleries. Sometimes they'll show Frankenstein with the GP and then Night of the Witches with the R, and then vice versa. And as I said, those stills that I saw show that Night of the Witches was an R. Maybe that was just, they thought it was going to get an R and they put it on there. Who knows? Because as I said, I don't think it was cut to get the GP. Why would you do that if you're going to show an R-rated movie anyway on the same bill? Why would you cut?
It's strange, because I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I think Night of the Witches feels more like an R movie than Dr. Frankenstein, even in its edited form.
I agree. I totally agree, because it's got a really weird, like, Cinemax After Dark kind of feel to it.
Yeah.
It's really strange. Apparently, there's a 35 millimeter copy of it in the UCLA Film Archive. If somebody would get down there and watch it, see if it's 78 minutes or 75 minutes. I don't know. It ran in the syndication package because Medford ran it for a couple of months. And on the East Coast, the distribution was through a sub, Clark Films. And Clark Films were run by the Clarks, including Bob Clark. He went as Ben Clark, who later went on to Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things and Black Christmas and all the good stuff. And they ran it in the East. And then in the West, Medford sold the rights to a company called, I think it was called Fortune Films. And they played it off in some of the Western markets. And then favorite films. And then after that, it winds up in an AIP TV package called, of all things, Fantastic Science Fiction Theater 1970. And that's so bizarre, because this film is like the odd horse out. This package had Circus of Fear, Destroy All Monsters, Destroy All Planets, Gamera versus Monster X, Mission Stardust, the Perry Rodan Italian film, Return of Giant Magin, Warning from Space, and my beloved favorite, Yongari, Monster from the Deep. And what Night of the Witches is doing in that package, I don't know, but there it was.
I always think of two things when I think of that. One is whenever Monster Chiller Horror Theater on SCTV, when he would suddenly get art films that in the package, and he would show them and try to convince kids. The same thing happened to Chiller Theater, because they did the 6 months of like the split movies where the early movie was on a living room set, and they showed like divorced Italian style and a few other like almost all Italian imports that were very adult and not dirty, but they were like, they weren't movies that kids on Chiller Theater were going to want to watch. And then they switched to Chiller for the second movie.
Marta was one of them.
Yeah, Marta.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting that Marta was in that Avco Embassy Nightmare Theater package.
Yeah.
And that was out around the same time as the AIP TV package. And some of these researchers online are looking at the advertising material, and they talk about how Witches Mountain had nudity in it that's lost, that was cut for the TV package. And that's what I think happened to Night of the Witches, the same thing. So people got into a discussion about how TV was different in the 70s. You could actually show fleeting nudity late at night and get away with it. And I'm guessing that Night of the Witches had some fleeting nudity, because the reviews at the time mentioned, they said, well, it's a shame this movie doesn't have more nudity in it for the drive-in. It looks like it's cut from an R. And it was reviewed in the Monthly Film Bulletin, which, believe it or not, I used to read in my high school library. My evil librarian, for some reason, got it. And Monthly Film Bulletin was out for a while. It was a competitor to Variety. And most of the exploitation reviews in that era were written by Joe Dante. And Dante actually reviewed this double feature, and he kind of liked both of them. He was fair and friendly to the genre films and the exploitation films. And his reviews later showed up in Castle Frankenstein. And again, there's that apocryphal story that Night of the Witches was an R cut to a GP.
Well, there was a mindset that an R-rated movie was more marketable in some theaters, so people would change the rating all the time. I've seen that many, many times in collecting all these ads, as people just sort of make up. Some places even put R ratings on movies that shouldn't have had it, like Dawn of the Dead.
Right.
Not the R-rated cut, not the infamous R-rated cut. There were just numerous theaters that just would list it as an R rating. And I don't know, did they let people come in? Did they let kids go into that when they showed up at the theater, or were people just
do you think some of that is because you couldn't advertise the X's? Like, if, like, you know, well, Dawn came out unrated. That's the reason it came out unrated, so it could still be advertised, but that might be some of it.
Yeah, it's really weird. You know, the early days of the ratings board came into effect in late 1968, right after Night of the Living Dead got released, and Roger Ebert went crazy over it and said children would be traumatized because it was playing kiddie matinees in downtown Chicago. It was unrated, and anybody could go in. But when the initial ratings came out, one of the first films rated was Dracula Has Risen from the Grave. It got a G rating. So the folks on the MPAA board at the time had no fucking idea what they were doing. Back when they had a G, an M for mature, the equivalent of the PG or the GP, R, and X. And Dracula Has Risen from the Grave got a G. Amazing.
What do you think it should have been rated?
Oh, that was a PG for sure, or a GP for sure. It would have been an M, excuse me. It would have been an M back in 68. So, yeah, it should have been. But a lot of these films, like you guys are always talking about Blood and Lace, which I concur in, that's a very rough GP. That is a hardcore GP rating.
Thematically, it's not even necessarily what they show on screen, but what they're talking about in the movie is it's traumatic. First of all, there's all the abuse of children in a children's home, but then there's that whole twist about the incest at the end. You're like, this guy's been following her to have babies with her, and he's her dad, and he knows that's his daughter. That's like really fucked up.
Or how about another early 70s release, The House That Screamed, aka La Residencia? That's got tough stuff in there. That's got like lesbianism and, you know, abuse of the young girl students and dismemberment. And that's a GP. What's another GP? Oh, another GP from the day would be, was Messiah of Evil a GP? I'm wondering, was that an M or was that a GP? I don't know, but there were there are so many that came out. I know that when MGM got the AIP package, it was an R. Okay, it got the AIP package, and they were going to put the Dr. Phibes films out on DVD for the first time, and they went and they actually re-rated them for DVD, and they came up with PG-13s, which I find to be completely crazy. Well, Psycho's re-release in the 80s got an R rating. It's the only like 1960 film that actually has an R rating.
That's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. But House That Screamed, I don't know, what was the rating for Malatestis Carnival of Blood?
It was an R.
That was an R too, okay. But a lot
The Baby's
of ratings,
a PG. That's
The Baby's a PG.
Example.
Thank you, Sam. That's a great example with disturbing themes and thematic elements.
And isn't Red Wolf Inn too, Bill, PG?
Yeah. Well, it was actually
right.
PG rated. There was at one point it was an R. Vivi got a bath today. It was an R rating for maybe like that Secrets Beyond the Door release in '81. and I think they tried to pass it off. It's not a strong film in terms of content, and they tried to pass it off as something that could compete with the slashers of the early 80s. But people were doing that all the time. Like I said earlier, they would just change the rating anyway.
Yeah. Or they'd get a rating, the rating they didn't like, and they'd put an R on it anyway. Like famously, New World Pictures with the baby cart samurai movies that they edited together, that could not get an R, and Corman sent it out as an R anyway. Shogun Assassin.
Yeah.
And then the ratings board got mad at him and told him he couldn't run it as an R. They had to pull it back. Because it's interesting, again, when I was looking at this to try to figure out if those cuts in Night of the Witches were a re-rating or cut down, you will see that famous double feature, one of the last, Vampire Circus and Countess Dracula from 20th Century Fox. It actually says on the ratings board notation that those were resubmitted to get GP ratings. Because if you remember, the American prints of Vampire Circus and Countess Dracula don't have nudity and the violence is cut out. I remember the first time I saw Vampire Circus, you can't really tell what happens to Count Mitterhaus in the end because it's, it's edited so badly, because those were R originally. And then when they put those out on home media, they restored the British cuts, which are great. So there was no notation for Night of the Witches that it was ever an R.
I do believe Witches Mountain that you discussed, the Spanish movie, there's a new Mondo Macabro release that has all the cut footage in it.
Oh, does it? Okay, I don't have it.
I think it's about 8 minutes of footage that wasn't in the TV version, which hopefully would make some of it make a little more sense.
Yeah, exactly.
But I love that movie, so I'm cool with it not making sense. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to confuse tonight's first movie, Night of the Witches, with that Spanish film, Night of the Sorcerers, which you guys showed, which is a great film.
Yeah. It was also known as Night of the Witches in some places. I think just on home video.
Yeah.
I can't find much evidence of that playing theatrically. I can't remember, but I don't think it never played theatrically in the States, and I don't know why, because it showed up in those Nightmare Theater packages.
Well, it's interesting. If you go online, people have been trying to track that down. I think, Sam, you've mentioned it on past episodes about whether some of those Spanish horror movies ever played in Spanish language theaters, in the Southwest and the southern part of the country. And some of them actually have Avco Embassy trailers. So it appears that Avco Embassy thought about an English language dub release of some of those films in Nightmare Package, but probably never did. Kind of like Orion Pictures owned Dario Argento's Opera, and there's that Terror at the Opera trailer that they sent out, and then Orion went bankrupt and Terror of the Opera didn't come off either. So I wonder too.
Weird, the Nightmare Theater package is so strange because it also has Doomwatch on it, which is a TV show re-edited into a movie, and it's like it doesn't fit thematically. That package doesn't really fit together, but that's probably why I like it so much.
Me too.
It's got a wild. It's like a Mill Creek pack before that actually existed.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like Night of the Witches in the AIP Fantastic Science Fiction Film package. You've got Circus of Fear and Gamera Films and Destroy All Monsters, Yongery. And then there's one called Spy in Your Eye, which is one of those, used to see them in the 70s, those weird Euro spy films that played late night TV.
I have a big affection for Euro spy movies. So whenever they would randomly show up, like Secret Agent Super Dragon is another one like that would randomly show up on cable.
Or the Commissar series, right? The Commissar movies. Just strange.
My favorite one of all those movies is the Bulldog Drummond, the two of them, the Deadliest of the Species and Some Girls Do. Those are both great. Obviously they're not as good as Bond, and I also like OK Connery, which is the movie that uses Sean Connery's brother.
Neil.
What's crazy about that movie is everybody that's in it, Moneypenny's in it, M's in it, like all of these major Bond actors are in it, and they all said they got paid better for that ripoff movie than Cubby Broccoli ever paid them, which is wild. And you have Morricone doing the Bond theme in it too, which is even greater. it's kind of like his little take on John Barry. It's pretty great.
Yeah, but those days were great, not only in the drive-ins, but late night TV, because you would see stuff that is now gone. Some of the stuff is not on any home media. As I said, these two movies aren't. I don't know if they ever will be.
So let's increase the audience for these movies tonight to the cult will
Yeah.
grow. By
I feel we've
people.
made a serious dent.
Yeah,
Well, we have.
Suddenly 200% more people like these movies than have seen them before.
Exactly. And look at it this way. This is the first time these two films have played together as a double feature in probably over 50 years.
Wow. That's awesome. I love this.
You saw it here for free on the Drive-In Asylum double feature. Well, we don't show the movies in case anyone's watching. We're not serving the movie to the audience. The audience goes and watches it on their own.
And Bill, I see I have an ad gallery coming up here.
I do. There's lots of stuff to look at for this. This is a fantastically promoted double feature. And, it played a lot of different places.
I don't know what you found, Bill, but I found that the first recorded showing in the U.S. was in Scranton, PA on August 30th, 1970.
That's correct. Yeah.
Is that right? Okay, cool. Then it has to be right if both of us found it as August 30th.
I mean, that was the first that's cataloged. There could have been something before that, but probably not. Yeah. This is from Halloween Night in Dayton, 1970.
Oh, you got class there, too. You got Rosemary's Baby in addition to these two.
Can you imagine?
Oh, man.
From Night of the Witches to Dr. Frankenstein on Campus to Rosemary's Baby.
I'm always astounded by like what movies exist in the same time as these films. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that's Rosemary's Baby is at the same time as this. That's amazing.
Yeah, and I love the TV promo for this. It shows no scenes from either movie.
Yeah, it's boring. That's why I didn't use it.
No, it's terrible. It shows just these like cartoon figures that makes it look like vampires there. There aren't any vampires in either one of these movies.
No, I was a little disappointed by that, truthfully, because when I first, revisited Night of the Witches, I think I saw it on TV years ago, but it's one of those, it's lost in my memory if I ever watched Night of the Witches. And I went looking for it, and I was like, where are the vampires? I didn't see anything.
How many people in the chat have actually seen Night of the Witches?
Yeah, most people said this was going to be their first time watch. I'd be interested to see who has seen it, other than Vince Cornelius. I know Vince has seen it.
Vince has seen it, and look at this ad: free funeral to anyone who dies of fright. Okay.
We're not paying for that, by the way. That is
no. If you die of fright tonight, forget it.
Yeah.
AC, Sam, and Bill are not on the tab for that. No way.
Yeah, we didn't make that offer. You can't prove we did.
No.
Yeah, we're gonna fill in our pool eventually. Do some stuff around our pool, so you can be buried outside our pool if you'd like.
I've got a shotgun. You won't be missed.
Yeah.
Look at this. Wow. In-car heaters.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a minute.
Times when I could use that.
That's kind of seems like a bad idea, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of fuel in the car.
Yeah. The Dependable had the in-car heaters back when I was a projectionist in the late 70s. It was a hose. You would stick it next to the speaker in your window and stay warm without having to keep your heater on in your car.
Oh, this is the wrong thing. I ran this on the page, so we'll look at it anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, wow.
This was amazing. I couldn't believe it.
I laughed so hard at this. Yeah. An H.R. Giger creation is trying to get you to buy video cassettes at $40.
This is the first depiction of the xenomorph probably as being anything less than completely hostile. He's handing you something that he wants you to watch, and it's a movie about himself. So he's just a narcissistic starfucker.
But Bill, he is being hostile. They're beta tapes.
Yeah. Okay. That's what you get. The xenomorph is the Tommy Wiseau of the monster
Yes.
universe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He looks
kinda,
really friendly there, though.
yes, he
looks
does.
like,
He looks happy.
yeah. He's like, that beta's great. It's the thing. And they're sure xenomorph.
If you follow, there's a great YouTube channel called Alien Theory, and it's this guy with the most soothing voice talking about everything about Alien, like video after video of every angle on the movie Alien and the franchise, etc., that you can think of. He just did a video about how the xenomorph was really misunderstood. And it was not evil. It was just acting on its instincts, and it was threatened by the crew of the Nostromo. They kept threatening it at every step.
I love the movies in this ad. There's some like major classics, and there's some major failures.
Raise the
Saturn
Titanic.
3 and raise the Titanic. Yeah, exactly. The first one's like, whoa. I think that was like I remember when VHS, when rental first happened, my dad was like, mostly the movies here aren't like the bigger movies. Like, yeah, because at first they weren't putting out the bigger movies.
The Boys from Brazil, fucking amazing. Love that movie.
Becca just yelled how much she loves that movie. That's one of her favorites.
He's in the kitchen making us some cocktails.
It's one of her favorite movies. Her and her dad used to watch it all the time. They huge love for that movie.
Mike Justice says the xenomorph just wants to be loved. Is that so wrong?
No, it isn't. I'm glad you understand that, Mike Justice.
I should have made Witch's Brew tonight. Crap, I didn't see this ad. See it all. You've never seen the way witches do it.
Okay, now here's Night of the Witches with an R rating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In St. Pete. So I'm guessing that's St. Petersburg.
I think so.
I don't know.
There's people in the chat from Florida, perhaps.
Yeah, then we got a really old film on there. We got a Michael Reeves film, The She-Beast.
This is from Tampa, by the way. It's
okay. That would have been probably St. Petersburg.
Yeah, first one in St. Pete.
But look at that. The She-Beast is on this as a triple feature, and that film is old. That was made before Michael Reeves died in '68.
That's a way better fit with these movies, though, than anything else.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Whoa.
I love when a drive-in is called an auto theater.
Yeah.
Auto theater. Ooh. Oh, we got Destroy All Monsters.
Yeah, that's worth staying up for.
Yeah, there we go. A GP, an R, and a G. Boy, we got all the ratings except the X there.
Oh yeah, here it is as GP.
Yeah.
They were keeping it real. They were like, this isn't an R movie.
Oh, the Mad Room. Wow.
I'm assuming that's just the Vulture, like the Hammer film, The Vulture.
Yeah.
Do you think?
Well, they didn't start. Oh, because these are 4 movies. Wow. 10/25.
Holy heck. The Mad Room's on there too.
Yeah.
That's another sort of lost to the sands of time movie. Nobody writes or talks about it.
Man. I love the fonts on those kind of handwritten things, Bill. I know you love them. The South Park always had the best stuff, by the way. Their ads are always incredible.
Every ad was a work of art.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
At the South Park. With like all this shit. Like I did this is Louisville, Kentucky. And this was in my Louisville series. And also Valley Nightmares. Roger Braden does a lot of stuff.
Is Roger in the chat tonight? I think he is.
I thought I saw him.
Hi, Roger. Look at this. You could have 2 William Graffet films and this meant for a double feature. Absolutely nuts. Roll up your car windows and don't be afraid to scream.
There is Roger. Valley Nightmares is on. So hello, Roger.
Yay. That would have been a hell of an evening. Boy. And I'll destroy some brain cells watching those 4 films.
I just love these hand sketched borders and everything. And look how they made the bats fit. I guess they drew the bats on themselves. I don't think that was part of the Night of the Witches campaign, but still, It's just like so much attention to detail, and in the service of what? Getting people to go to the drive-in that weekend. It's very noble.
I don't know a more noble cause.
Yeah,
I don't either.
I agree.
And the South Park had the warmest electric in-car heaters too. How can you top that?
This is something I wanted to show later. I'm gonna save that for later.
That seemed like Sam's night at the movies. It was briefly on screen there, so pretty exciting.
Yeah. Okay, here we go.
Oh man.
Frankenstein meets the Space Monster from 1966, and then Frankenstein 1970 from what, 1958?
Yeah.
Am I close there?
Yeah, it's really sort of funny how much Frankenstein is on this poster and how little Frankenstein is actually in any of these movies. It's just not what
neither Frankenstein nor Dr. Frankenstein is in Frankenstein versus the
but James Caron on a Vespa is in Frankenstein.
Yes, James Caron is it. And Bruce Glover is the space monster. Did you know that?
Oh, that's right. Bruce Glover is. That's right.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a heck of an ad, though. Look at that.
An alternate for the same show. I love this. There's like Frankenstein coming through your door.
Ooh, look at that.
And he has a bat friend with him.
Yes, he does.
Well, maybe this is a night at the Frankenstein household where a bat got into the house and they're just trying to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, either that, Bill, or it's the house of Wolfstein that became Frankenstein, right?
Right, in Frankenstein's Bloody Terror. God, I hated when that happened. How like it started out as a Frankenstein movie in the cartoon, and then by the time there were real images on the screen, it was a werewolf film. And
they
a
got
vampire.
everybody.
Yeah, you had everything but Frankenstein in that movie.
There's some wonderful ads for this double feature. I'm very excited. No.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. It was a very, very big deal, and we hope everyone else thinks it is too.
Well, we'll see after they see Night of the Witches. Again, I don't know if this is crazier than the last time I was here with those last two, Madison Lace and Behind Locked Doors. These aren't as scuzzy, folks, okay, as those last two. If you made it through the last two when I was on, you'll make it through tonight. Barely.
The print that we're going to watch of this is really old and battered, and
as I said, it's the only one I found on the internet. It's everybody who has posted it has it from the same TV broadcast. It's like a third or fourth generation dupe. So you can watch it. I mean, it's not great, but it's watchable.
You're never going to see it any better than this. Let's just say that.
Yeah, this is it. My dream is that somebody will watch this show and go, I have a 16 millimeter print that has 78 minutes or whatever, and you guys want it? And we'll be like, yeah, sure.
So what should we talk about on the first segment tonight, other than tonight's features? You know, what's been going on?
We went to Horror Realm yesterday.
Oh, tell us about that, Sam.
Yeah, I saw
It was
pictures.
great. Yeah, I sent you some pictures to show too.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I sent them along with the video. Yeah.
Oh.
With the videos, but I can show you what I got there if that helps. Our friends Fast Custom Tees were there, Bill, and I spent a lot. So 2 new shirts. We got a Hello Mary Lou shirt. You can see that on camera. There we go. And Bill, this is my new favorite shirt, other than the shirt I wore last night, which is The House That Vanished, which is my favorite shirt. But this is my new favorite shirt.
You know, my friend Robert from Toronto is in the chat tonight.
Oh my God.
He has the greatest story about Hello Mary Lou. So you guys need to get him on the show to tell it. It's fantastic. Yeah. There's Possession. Oh my gosh.
God. I fucking love that shirt.
Yeah, and then I got went to the Severn booth and we got a extraterrestrial visitors, a Bill favorite, Alien from the Abyss,
Mm-hmm.
and the Dead one, which I'm very excited because it has my review on the back of it, and I didn't have it. So there it is. A significant movie. I said one of the first zombie films made in color. It mostly played Southern drive-ins, Mexican cinemas before disappearing for 40 years. So it's kind of cool to have that. And then I bought this book on the Scooter McCrae movie, 16 Tongues, which is really one of my favorite shot on video movies. And it has the script and a lot of notes from him. And if you haven't seen that movie, definitely check it out. So more stuff to show later because I got more stuff in the mail. We also got 2 autographs and some photos. Becca got her picture with Dee Wallace. There it is. Yeah. Becca was super excited and
I love that
literally
she has
jumped in and hugged her right away.
She didn't feel threatened.
She said, I love getting hugs like that. She said, thank you so much.
She's a very spiritual person. She's really into like auras and stuff like that. So she's very emotional and friendly, I would think.
She was super, super nice, beyond as nice as you want her to be. And Becca was losing it. And I love the she said, how 80s do I look in this picture?
Totally.
So it looks like Cubby with her there.
Ooh, critters.
Except super big.
We're gonna redo that picture with Cubby and Becca. And
what if Cubby grew to that size?
Oh, he's already hard to deal with. He literally does look like that. He has a little bump on his belly in the same place. So I think that's why she loves him so much. Because he's a crate. And Charles Band, who's super cool. We had a nice talk, and he is always selling. He will sell you on everything. They had a $200 bloodstone from Subspecies for sale. Like, he brought so much stuff for sale. Like, it was unbelievable. But that's what you should do when you're doing these conventions, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he definitely did. There's a nice picture of us together. And see, Bill, I am wearing my House at Vanished shirt. With him. And Becca's wearing the Halloween 2 shirt that you made her.
Is it too soon to talk about Horror Realm?
Is it too soon? And if you guys want to go to Horror Realm, it'll be there if you're in Pittsburgh. Also there tomorrow, Sunday, in South Hills. And Tiffany Shepis is there. John Russo's there. He had a whole bunch of new stuff, and he was in the corner half awake. So you can get some John Russo stuff.
Did he try to sell you a coffee-stained one-sheet, Sam?
Yes, he did. Also, when we stopped at Half Price Books, he had sold a bunch of stuff to them too. So they had it in the display case, a couple of his scripts. And I'm like, did he go to Half Price Books before the con and sell his stuff? Yes, he did. But the other cool thing is at Half Price Books, Becca's been collecting tie-in novels. So there's Batteries Not Included. Yeah, which is kind of cool. And this one is very exciting, the Omen tie-in.
Oh,
so that's going to go in the collection.
Does she have all the Halloween ones?
No Halloween ones, but Becca got 2 new shirts. She got a Monsters shirt, the Romero show, and she got a Cujo shirt that actually has the cast of Beethoven with Cujo instead of Beethoven, which is pretty cool. Bill, they had tons of Fast Custom Tees. Had so much. They had a Siskel and Ebert shirt. And they only had smalls. They were out of all other sizes. Yeah. Oh, and Becca bring in your hoodie. Becca has if you ever seen Becca wears like these hoodies that have like all sorts of stuff written on them. This guy had been coming to a bunch of cons and hadn't come in a while. Becca saw this guy from across the room and literally ran and just handed him $60. She was like beyond excited, but this hoodie is unbelievable. She got a Prince of Darkness hoodie from him, and it's she's in Christmas PJs. She says she doesn't want to be on camera, but she's gonna hand me the hoodie. But these Christmas PJs obviously are very comfortable, even though they know it's Christmas?
We just saw the Christmas PJs when she walked by the camera.
She tried to be invisible. She's trying to be invisible. The art of not being seen.
I mean, wow. She's invisible.
You didn't say, okay, she's going to bring it in. Here it comes in real time. This is pretty rad. It is. That's the back of it.
Ooh.
And then it has the anti-God on the sleeves, the chamber that it was in from it. And then down one on the front, let me see. Down the arm, it says, "We have witnessed his stirring." And then the front just has the John Carpenter Prince of Darkness. So you'll see her in this if you wonder, is that Rebecca when you come to the drive-in in April? She'll be wearing that. So yeah, you'll see her wearing that. So yeah. John Russo perked up because there was a girl that was like 25 that came to his table and he was like half awake. And all of a sudden he was like, "Oh, hey." And he just started hawking stuff.
He already started writing a scene.
Yeah, he's like, "Hey, have you ever been in a movie? Would you like to be in a movie?"
Would you appear in a hot tub in my movie?
He said, he said, what did he say? I heard him say something like, "I always thought cowboy movies should have more zombies." And I was like, "Oh, John. He was sitting next to, what's his name? Rush Striner too. So that was a little corner, little Night of the Living Dead corner.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a nice show. If you go on Friday, usually it's not as crazy busy. And you get a chance to go through and look at stuff. It's not like the biggest horror con you've gone to, but it's $20. It's pretty cheap. If you're into the Rob Zombie movies, almost everybody from Three from Hell was there. So,
was Rob Zombie there?
He was not there. Nor was his wife.
I mean, John Bravo.
John Bravo was not there either.
Damn it.
Yeah. So.
Hey, you want to do the drink segment?
Let's do it.
Let's do it, man.
Let's.
Witch. Who's a witch?
It's the Island of the Witches. That's the drink for Night of the Witches. You're going to need like 4 of these to get this movie, be in the right headspace for this movie. Probably drop some acid in it too while you're at it, because this one's a crazy one. But very excited. 2 ounces of Malibu, 1 ounce amaretto, 6 ounces of orange juice, 2 ounces of pineapple juice. Oh no. Goodbye, amaretto.
Take him to the graveyard.
That's the end. That's my little, I used to play trumpet. Second chair, pretty awesome. The worst trumpet player ever. Anyway, let's go back through. Let's review. 2 ounces Malibu, 1 ounce sadly gone amaretto, R.I.P. Rest in power. 6 ounces orange juice, 2 ounces pineapple juice, 1 ounce grenadine for the end. How do we do it, you'll say? Easy.
Oh, in the shaker.
Put them in the shaker, except for the grenadine. Right, Cubby said yes, Sam, don't forget the grenadine. And you put that in your shaker, and you're gonna make it nice. Top it, shake it. All right, can we get it off? Do I have the tensile strength? Yes, I do. Do I spill anything?
Yes,
No, I did not. Anyway. Now, you got that there. Get ready. Cubby's excited. You ready?
He's coming.
Come on in. There's that Island of the Witches feel that we were looking for. Oh. Look at that. And what's nice is the grenadine sinks down. So, 'cause it's heavier, so you get like different layers. You get a layer of the foam on top, you get a layer of the orange, and you get a layer of the red, which is really nice. And sometimes you get a little bit of stuff on top too if you pour it differently. Anyway, Pazuzu, and let's oh man, it's a good one.
Pazuzu.
I already drank one.
Welcome to the Night of the Witches.
It's really good, Sam. Mine didn't come out as pretty as yours, though. Although you could see 3, different layers. So you can see it a little bit.
Yeah, it helps if you pour it like really slow, like out of a pour, like I have there, and that'll help.
Yeah, it tried, but it's good. It's really good.
Thank you. I have to start thinking of recipes for the drive-in, so that'll be next.
And I followed your instructions, and I cursed an enemy before I poured the grenadine on.
That's how you do it, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It works,
I
but you
think
gotta live with it.
yeah. I was trying to think of I was trying to get like a beachy kind of do you know what I mean? Like tiki kind of drink for this movie. It felt kind of appropriate. So that's kind of where I went with this and just tried to make it nice. The next drink, I got to tell you, spoiler warning, it looks like Frankenstein. The color came out awesome. So
Oh, it's great.
yeah, I was really excited about it.
And it's the return of Midori for the Drive-In Asylum double feature drink.
Yeah.
Thank God.
We're trying to get how cool would it be to be sponsored by Midori? Now all I can drink is water. Now that I have my acid reflux stuff, I said to Becca, I said, when we go to the drive-in, I'm still going to be just only able to drink water. I'm going to bring like 2 jugs of water and everybody else is going to be drinking. But let's hope my stomach heals by then. It's on the comeback trail. So as they say. Roger said he's bringing drive-in moonshine to the drive-in. Oh man. Oh boy.
Well,
I had it last time.
You know what I always bring? Oh yeah.
Yep.
That drink that Dracula likes.
Yeah.
Absinthe.
Awesome. I am very much looking forward to the drive-in. I was thinking about it the other day. I was struggle busting through work. I was like, well, the drive-in's not that far away. So it kind of got me through. This week was all like, I knew Horror Realm was coming and I was like, oh, it'll be fun to go. Except Barbara Crampton canceled the day of the show. So that was kind of a bummer. But, you know, Becca was there to see Dee Wallace, and I just wish you guys could have seen how excited she was. You can see it a little bit in the photo, but she was like the happiest I've seen her, like just so happy. So it was cool. Yeah, Laura said I should.
You guys can probably figure out why I like Night of the Witches, because it's a movie that's just sort of very low quality, at least the transfer that we have. It's like watching on an old TV set, and it's slow moving. Warning. It's not a whole lot happens in this movie. I'm not going to say nothing happens, but you know, this is not a thrill-packed feature. Even though it's got that cheesy drive-in atmosphere.
But it's only 75 minutes of your time. So it'll buzz by. And again, you guys can watch in the first scene and look at the really bad edit. There's a jump cut, and that's probably part of the missing 3 minutes right there.
Yeah.
What was there? Boobs?
Yeah, it looks like it.
So there are no boobs in this version, but
no.
We think there were boobs at one point. So
now somebody online suggested that Anna Billers watched this movie before she made The Love Witch. I don't know about that, but I don't know if
she had watched more of it, so it would have been a better movie. But you know, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say that. You know, The Love Witch looks great, but there's not much there. This movie.
She also believes the Satanic Panic is true. By the way, did you know that?
Oh, does she?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
She's like, yeah. I was like, oh, okay.
Ooh, that reminds me. There was one ad that I forgot to show, and I'll put it up on screen right now. Here's the only instance I could find of it not playing with Dr. Frankenstein on campus.
Oh, wow. But that's a great double. That seems like a natural double feature too there.
Oh, yeah. This is like a Halloween showing in where, Dayton or something?
I think so.
Because I was looking, I think that's the only one I found too, where it wasn't playing with Dr. Frankenstein on campus.
I have to tell you, Bill, I love this ad because one, attention all exorcists. And they're like, yeah. And they're like, I just wanted to see if you were out there. Like there's no like follow up to it. And two, like Night of the Living Dead font, amazing. It's like almost Asian, but also tiki. It's great. And it's GP for Night of the Living Dead. Cool. Okay.
You guys did.
And Mark of the Witch. Okay.
In your library of mixtapes that you had that were just plain cassettes that you recorded stuff onto, this would be a perfect edge. That Night of the Living Dead logo there, and it's even in the shape of a cassette. So
I know.
If this was a band, that's what I would have made for the edge.
Yeah.
Well, I have to admit that triple feature builds, though, because each film gets better, because you guys showed Mark of the Witch, and that's a pretty good regional horror film. And then, of course, Night is a classic, Night of the Living Dead.
Man. So it's like, what I like is like, it's like free association, like Night of the Witches, Mark of the Witch, Night of the Witches, Night of the Living Dead. Cool, come to Acme. Attention, all exorcists. Oh,
Anyway,
man.
I couldn't let the evening end without showing that one.
Oh, no, you could not.
Don't let it end.
Man, that made me even more excited about watching this movie.
Well, we should also mention that both of these movies tonight have terrific soundtracks. You'll hear an eclectic selection of music in Night of the Witches. I don't know how you would describe it. It's just weird, really weird.
And we'll get into it with the second movie, I'm certainly sure, but like, it feels like Dr. Frankenstein on Campus could be remade. Like, there's like another movie, like, you know, and it could go the total comedy route of what it could be. Like, there's a lot of ways they could have taken that and they didn't. So it's very interesting to me.
Mm-hmm. So what are we going to see tonight in Night of the Witches besides witches, astrology, Keith Eric Burt, a.k.a. cowboy TV actor Keith Larson, as a sort of Night of the Hunter type preacher? And we're going to see Ron Taft. He is the younger male lead. It's interesting. He did some other things, and then he wound up marrying actress Leslie Ann Warren, and he was a talent agent. So I'm sure he doesn't put this on his resume, but he's there. And then, as Sam mentioned, you got a couple of women who were in porn movies. The one was in Trader Horny, and Count Yorga Vampire, when it was when Count Yorga Vampire was actually going to be sexier than it turned out to be.
Yeah.
Count Iorga.
Count Iorga, The Loves of Count Iorga. Do you guys remember when that played the drive-in? They actually had a print that had the title The Loves of Count Iorga on it.
Yeah, that's the one it has on the Blu-ray.
Yeah, amazing.
But there is no actual sex version of that movie, is there? I don't think so.
No, not that's ever come to light.
The only one that I know that has a sex cut is the Santo and Dracula movie, that for years they claimed that there was a cut that had partial nudity, and Santo's family was like incensed that they would not let it be shown, and it's on the Blu-ray, and it's nothing that bad.
Santo doesn't show anything?
No, it's just one of the vampire queens has her bra off for 1 second.
There was no I thought maybe it was a shower scene with Santo and the Blue Demon.
No, there is none.
That part in Midnight Express.
Yeah.
Dustin says there might be boobs in the third segment. Spoiler.
Oh man. Bill, also, I forgot to mention, I recorded 3 new episodes of the podcast this weekend, so there's some cool stuff coming up.
Yeah. Well, you teased that one you did about the 3 movies. Is it out? Are you allowed to say
it was Thunder Warrior, the 3 Italian Thunder movies, which were made in the US but have almost all nearly Italian cast and crew. They are on Tubi now, which 1 and 2 are on Tubi, which is awesome, and I hope points to the fact that somebody is releasing these movies. I threw down the gauntlet at the end of the episode. I'm like, whoever puts out Thunder, like I want in, because I can talk about Thunder 1, 2, and 3 for way too long, as you can tell from the episode. There is an episode coming up, Bill. You can probably guess the movie. It's like 25 minutes long, one movie. What movie could I talk that long about? If anybody knows me, you probably can guess what it is. So, yeah.
Well, I guessed the Mark Gregory movies.
Yeah.
Because
I know. I was like, should I do all the Mark Gregory movies? Should I also do Adam and Eve versus the Cannibals? I probably will.
Yeah,
but,
you will.
I'm guessing that it's Alucarda.
No, it is not Alucarda. No, that should be on too.
That should be.
Yeah.
In the background, make sure to have something screaming back there.
My next tease is for next week's movie on the podcast. It's a religious movie. That's all I'll say. So get ready. Yeah. Again, if you know me and you know the stuff I write about, you probably guessed, but I'm excited. I'm having fun doing them. Bill, the last episode I recorded is full of samples. So I'm having fun putting voices and stuff into it and messing around with it a little more. So
you've really fallen down the rabbit hole. I wondered why you weren't texting me.
Yeah, well, I've been trying to, believe it or not, I'm on a health kick, trying to redo my health with my stomach and other stuff. I have been going to bed at 10:30 every night. I know this sounds insane, but yeah, and I've been sleeping in a bed for the first time in years. So yeah,
Are we
it's been
talking
weird.
to pod person Sam
Yeah,
Panko?
I was at Becca
Yeah.
brought this plant and put it next to Sam's side of the bed.
No.
And the next morning, Sam was up really early, like sweeping all this dust onto a dust pan. And
Though I do have a sound machine that I use now and a humidifier. God, I'm getting old. I got old really quick, and I have so many pills. Like, come see me at the drive-in where I will be carrying my pill carrier to take my pills.
I use white noise too. There's a fan that I turn on every night, and I have to have it.
It's really. I got a wedge pillow. It's really hot. Like there's a lot going on. I got to tell you guys. I'll say it on the show. I love my wife because she has really been putting up with a lot the last couple weeks with all the health stuff. So I love her and I appreciate her. And she's been cooking stuff she hates for me, like fish. Though she made me a tuna fish sandwich yesterday. She came in with the pouch and she said, "You will touch this. I am not touching this." And so she put the bread down and got out of the way. It is not Left Behind, and it is not Eerie Midnight Horror Show, which are two movies I have to do. So yeah, if you have any suggestions for stuff you'd like me to talk about on the show, I definitely will do them. But there's some pretty cool ones coming up. I'm really excited. I'm trying to stay like a month ahead so that I don't get jammed up, and trying to keep them to like 10 minutes for the most part, because the more I can get them at that level, and they aren't that long and they just get you excited about a movie and make you want to watch it. That's what I'm trying to do with it. Oh, Bill, I saw Darren said, "Sam, I take more pills than Patty Duke." I saw Valley of the Doll soundtrack yesterday at Half Price Books and I didn't buy it. I was like, I would have rolled a joint on it. Like it really
the vinyl.
felt like, yeah, vinyl. Yeah.
I think I have the vinyl. I'm not sure. I definitely had the CD.
Yeah. I right now so let's compare pills. Third segment talk. I'm only taking like 3 or 4 actual pills, but the rest are vitamins. And I take way too many vitamins now. And then the night ones aren't as many. But yeah, it's cool getting old. It's really fun. I love it. I got pink eye this week too. It's been everything. This week's been just full of magic. But I'm on the uptrend, and let's keep it going. And let's enjoy Night of the Witches, which will make me feel awesome.
I think so too. If Night of the Witches doesn't fix everything, what would?
Beth may be right for what next week's movie is. Don't tell anybody else that's what next week's movie is. But don't tell anybody. That is definitely what it is. So good call. That's one of my favorite movies of all time. So, which will never show on the show because it would upset people so much. But anywho, let's get to the movie.
Yeah, let's. The link is on YouTube on the Groovy Doom Facebook page. Or what I just said made no sense. Go to the Groovy Doom Facebook page for the link. The movie is on YouTube, and you have to kind of like enter Night of the Witches 1970. That'll help you find it real fast. And go watch it there and come back afterwards. We'll have lots more to say.